Let's get started. Hey everyone, thank you for joining. We're at day 2 of our breakout sessions at the SOSV Climate Tech Summit. I am very, very excited to have Matthias here. Matthias is the founder, CEO of GridX, which is just one of the most incredible organizations that I think we as an organization get to work with, as they are doing the most boots on the ground ecosystem development that can be seen working across emerging markets in the biotech sector. And so many of the coolest companies you'll see in biotech are just like secretly working with Matthias. Like they're just like coming from Argentina and surrounding countries, and it's just like super incredible. I have a food delivery right now. No, it's okay. Sorry, that was just terrible timing.
Now I can start talking so you can eat.
Yeah. You all know what to do. Let us know where you're from in the chat. Use the Q&A. Your questions for Matthias. Upvote the ones you like. Matthias, I'll leave it to you. I will be here, but I'll be off screen. All right?
Great. You're great, Stefan, and thanks a lot. That's too much of what you're saying. We are just starting here. And the idea is to make a short intro of myself and about GridX and try to start a conversation with you. I think it's going to be the best way to know each other. So, as Stefan said, I'm Matthias Peire. I'm the founder and CEO at GridX. GridX is a venture capital fund, but with a particular model that is a company builder model that is started because a matter of necessity. No, I started like 10 years ago in Argentina mainly, but looking all the region. Looking how to connect the science-based space with the venture capital industry. And the first conclusion after a year of understanding and studying and talking with people from the scientific system was that there were no startups to invest in, no science-based startups to invest in enough critical mass. No, so at that point we decided to start thinking and designing about a model to help these scientists to transform their science into startups that can be invested with venture capital approaches. So we started doing that approach and mapping scientific projects that there were no startups, but were aiming to be startups, and scientists that were aiming to be entrepreneurs. And so we started mapping mainly in Argentina at the beginning, but then expanding to the region, these kind of projects, and also start working with some of them to transform that research lines into startups. At that point, we also realized that there was a necessity because of the matter of the speed of this kind of startups and how they grow and how they transform themselves. It was a necessity to mix these scientific teams with business entrepreneurs. So at that point, we started working also in this process of helping the scientists to transform their research lines into startups, to find the right co-founders for their startups, to balance science and business in the same founding team. So we start doing this company builder process where we first discovered this amazing science that could be really competitive in the world, coming out from Latin America, and also great scientists that wants to become entrepreneurs, and also looking for entrepreneurs with focus in business that wants to join this kind of startups. So we start doing this like kind of Tinder, that puts together couples of scientists and business entrepreneurs. So after doing all this model, we raised our first fund in 2017. It was an originally $12 million fund with investors from Argentina first, and then we expanded to other investors in the region, and we started investing. And finally, in 2018, we consolidate our team and we consolidate our our model and start investing through a process that we call Ignite. That is a process where we transform this science into startups. That first fund of 12 million fund allow us to invest it in 36 companies. Today we had an exit from that companies and also a write-off. So there are 34 companies that are running. Some companies did it very well, like Casper Biotech, Stam, Biflow, Microma, Onco Precision, Puna Bio, Biotech, Microgenesis, well, many of them. If I don't mention all of them, are going to kill me. But there are many companies that they are doing really, really well. All the companies are really trying to do a deep impact in the world in different sectors, such as agriculture, food, diagnostics, personalized medicine, industrial tech, industrial biotech, enablers technologies, so different industries. And we are growing in the region. Last year, we developed we raised our second fund. Now it's a $30 million fund that we are already deploying it, and we are growing in all the region. And we started investing the second fund. We already have 66 companies in our portfolio, 46 from Argentina, but we since the last 3 years, we started investing abroad. So we have companies from Mexico, from Chile, from Colombia, from Costa Rica, from Brazil, Uruguay, and of course Argentina. So we are doing this process where we want to connect with the scientist in a very early conversation. We don't need no TRL, we don't need IP, we just need a very good and deep scientist with a deep commitment of transforming their science into a company and transforming their careers into entrepreneurial careers. And from there, we work with them. And we also are looking for entrepreneurs that really want to impact, and they really struggle to find projects that really can impact in the world. No, it's difficult to connect, but by themselves with like a deep knowledge startup, no, that can really impact in a deep way. In general, entrepreneurs go through like digital startups. That it's okay. I think we have to do a lot of stuff digitizing the world, but we need more startups doing stuff in this atoms world. No, and I think if you are here in this event hosted by SOSV, that is the most active investor in deep tech, I think you should have some interest in this conversation. But it's difficult, no, for that entrepreneur, and mostly in Latin America, to connect with a scientist and to do all this process to start becoming an entrepreneur in this deep tech space. No, and as I had this experience, like my background is in business, it's not in science, but I lead like deep technologies companies for the last 20 years. I knew that it was possible to even not coming out from the academia or being scientist or engineer, to know the language and to understand and learn the language to become a leader of a deep tech company. So as we know that, also some of my partners had the same experience. We know perfectly well that a business-oriented entrepreneur could be a CEO or a right leader of a deep tech company. I could be a very good support and co-founder of a science-based startups. We also need the commitment from the scientists because we want them to transform themselves into entrepreneurs. But we know that the balance between both in these complex companies, in this complex world, are the best way to approach this kind of companies. please feel free. I can talk like nonstop for hours about this, but feel free to make questions. I think here is some questions I can start reading. Well, the first question is Stefan. I think we have a huge tradition in Argentina in terms of science. That what's happening in Argentina to make such a great source of startups, and we have a very huge scientific ecosystem. We have 3 Nobel Prizes. That is weird for a country, and we have like the biggest density of scientists in the region. But I think that what is happening in Argentina, I think is leading the sourcing of this kind of startups, could happen in any country in the region. So we have enough scientists in each country to start putting scientists into startups and start helping them to transform their science into startups. And if you see the numbers, it makes no sense, because we have like 300,000 researchers, 200,000 more focused on applied sciences, and there are no companies coming out from that ecosystem. So it makes no sense. Even that in Argentina we have more scientists, maybe more density of scientists, and a deep tradition. We have enough scientists in every country in the region to start thinking about creating this kind of companies. So it's difficult, and it's take a huge commitment from scientists and entrepreneurs, but it's well deserved, all this effort. So we work a lot to help this process. How is the government regulatory environment in the region friendly or difficult for climate innovation R&D? I think we're just starting. It's very new. All the stuff around the process to transform scientists or transform science into startups is very new. Sometimes the scientific system is afraid or look as a threat, of like private capital coming into the science-based space and trying to talk with scientists. They are seen as a threat sometimes. It's a very conservative space. But as we are creating like success cases, I think this is working, and we are looking for more openness in this space. And I think there is the biggest challenge that we have in the region. How to improve the processes on how the scientists can start thinking about this kind of stuff. And it's reasonable, because historically in the region there were no other chance to do science rather than to be in the academia, because multinational companies doesn't do science R&D in the region, and local companies in general, because there are exceptions, but in general doesn't do R&D in the region. So the only chance for a scientist to do science was in the in the academia. So that is changing, because the startups started to bring people, to bring scientists in the today we have like more than 700 people working on the portfolio companies, and I think it's almost 600 scientists from those are working in the companies. So Madeleine, hello Madeleine, how are you? How soon can we plan a SOSV Deep Tech event in Buenos Aires? Let's talk. We can do it as soon as you want. We'll be very excited to host that event and help you to organize it. It's a growing deep tech ecosystem in Buenos Aires and also in the region. So we are in contact with all the people that are not so much that in the region that is working in this kind of conversation. So happy to help and start thinking about when to do it. It could be anywhere. How advanced should a scientific project be to apply to GridX? As I mentioned, there is no need to be a TRL. there is no need to be an IP. So if and this is like dynamic conversation. Maybe you apply, we have a conversation, we see that you are not ready yet, and we encourage you to apply for the next year. So if you have interest, if you think that you have something in your research line or in your experience that can be transformed into impact into a startup, do the process, apply, and also the process is going to help you to think about and it's going to put you on track to think about how to transform your science into a startup. No? How is the funding environment in LATAM? Another question. I think that is too small yet, no, and we have to separate sectors, no, because there is a huge interest in climate today in Latin America and in general in the world. But as we talk of climate tech investments, we have to be very clear about like startups that are coming from the digital space. That, okay, as I mentioned, it's important. We need more digitalization of stuff, and that try to work in climate issues, and a different kind of startups that are the deep tech startups. So we are seeing a lot of like investors coming out from the digital side, trying to jump into the climate sector. That is awesome, but there are no investors in the region that understand the deep tech kind of startups. So it's growing slowly. I think it's going to take time. I think it's going to be a matter of also critical mass of startups coming out from this sector that can tempt investors to transform themselves into deep tech investors in the region. But I think it's going to take like no less than 10 years to create the ecosystem. So that's why it's so important for our portfolio companies and in general for this kind of startups in these stages to connect very fast to US investors, and that's why it's so important for us, this relation with SOSV and in the bio in particular. No? What are some of the biggest sectors opportunity for climate founders building in Latin right now? Well, I have a biased answer about that. I think climate should look at the scientific possibilities that we have in the region. No? We have the more scarce resource for us is always entrepreneurs that wants to jump into these discussions and don't have the possibility to really connect with scientists. No, we need more entrepreneurs from all around the countries that wants to start this conversation, and we can help in putting them together with scientists. And I think the biggest opportunity in the region is right there, no? Is to become like entrepreneurs in science-based startups. What are some of the biggest sectors opportunity for? I already read it. What type of climate tech companies is Grid focused on building right now? Are all the co-founders you work with science experts, or do you work with people with other background as well? Well, yes, we always work with scientists. We have to have a scientist in the founding team. And we need these scientists to become a full-time entrepreneur in the companies. No, it's not like the traditional company builders models in the pharma industry, where the scientist stays in the academia in general. No, and the VCs do all the stuff, and they put like very senior managers in front of those companies. This is a totally different stuff. We want the scientist to jump in the company to become full-time entrepreneur. Full-time founder and in that company, and also we connect him with business entrepreneurs. So in saying that, the kind of companies related to climate are like very different. We are doing stuff in biomaterials, in taking care of soils, restoring soils, in new alternative proteins, in agricultures, in ingredients for the food industry, some stuff related to air capture, no, climate gases, no, that kind of stuff, no. More or less, more than a half of our portfolio have some impact in climate. The other half, or the other 40%, have impact in inequality, approaching more health stuff and that kind of things. I think that is the last question. If there is another question. Well, I think I have a couple of minutes. Stefan? No? Behind? I don't know if you have particular another question.
I think there might be some new ones that popped up.
Okay, just to let you know, we are starting the process to select the next cohort that it's going to start in April, more or less, but we are going to start the process in October, the exploration process. And it's just an exploration process where we look for scientists. We constantly go through universities, research institutes, and so on in all the region. We have a team in Mexico that, if you're from Mexico, you can connect. We have a team in Brazil, and so if you're from there, you can connect. And we have a team in Argentina, but we have contacts in all the rest of the countries of the region. So we are very interested in growing in any country. And it's not only about scientists; it's also about like business entrepreneurs that wants to jump in this conversation. We are very like convinced that we need, as Sean always mentioned, we need to transform the way on how we produce, or the means of production, and we are convinced that we have to speed up that task. No, we are facing and we're gonna face more urgencies in terms of the climate, and so we need to bring from the knowledge that is already produced new solutions to transform the agriculture, to transform the way on how we create stuff, materials, the way how we eat, the way how we treat health and distribute all this health in a more equal way. So we think that we need to put a lot of energy, a lot of desire there, no, with an open mind, with an open hands and an open heart to really do a lot of stuff. And we need more people coming into this conversation, and more people that have the courage to really join a so complex and deep knowledge startup like this kind of startups that we fund, and SOSV also fund. But we need more people and from the business side, and we need more scientists eager to transform their careers into entrepreneurial careers. No, we ambition. We know that there are. We estimate, we don't really know as a fact, but we estimate that there are 200,000 researchers in the region related to life sciences. And we said, imagine if we have the 10% of those scientists working not only as founders, no, but early employees and employees from this kind of companies doing awesome stuff. Imagine if we have 10% of those scientists in the region working in this kind of companies. 20,000 minds putting their efforts in doing deep science to transform a lot of stuff, and that could be a huge change for the region, and a huge collaboration in this conversation for the world. So welcome everybody. We are very excited of what is happening in the region, and happy to have you all in this conversation, and very open to talk to you all.
So I think you have you have a few more minutes, and there's a question that Gladys asked, and it should be at the bottom of the Q&A. Here we go. I'm part of an university's entrepreneurial center, and my goal is to cultivate the biotech ecosystem in Peru. What steps can I take to initiate and support initiatives that promote biotech startups having very limited funds? And I love this question because I think this was the question that you tackled in your region and have expanded to other regions. I think Peru is doing some great stuff, and I think a lot of us here want the same thing for wherever we are working. And your thoughts would be great. And for a couple minutes, it's fine.
No, I think that the first, Gladys, that you have to think is to start the process, the cultural process, to speak about the opportunity that creating a company means in terms of also of the scientific career. No, that is difficult. It's a difficult step because, as I mentioned, historically there were no chances to do science outside the academia. But I think that we can start talking about doing science outside the academia. And all the scientists really are sincerely moved by impacting with their science. No, so we used to say, if you think a company as a tool, nor as a like a capitalism tool for the evil, but a tool for transformation, you can think that the bottom line of that tool, of that vehicle that is a company, could be impact instead of profits. But when you have this understanding of a company as an impact machine, then you have to put it the profit in the bottom line, because we need to think this as a business. So I think to start the process to help the culture, the scientific system to understand that creating a company is a very good way to impact with their science could be a first approach. And please contact us, and we can help in that process also. I think we have some chats in some conferences in Peru, but please, Gladys, contact us and we can help.
That was fantastic. I very much appreciate it. The next question I have to ask is, how do people find you? How do they get in touch with you? How would you like people to interact?
Great. We are very active in the social networks, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. But also you can contact through our website, that is GridXponential.com. Feel free to send a message through there, and happy to connect, and also in LinkedIn. So we are always open to start conversations. Great.
Well, that's been fantastic.
I think if we have one minute, because I don't want to leave behind any. You mentioned a connection to US-based programming in India. Can you say more about thoughts thinking with other resources in the US for the teams you serve? Well, the final battle is to connect these startups with US investors. So our best way to do it in the past was with IndieBio. So we are going deeper in that conversation, and we'll have. And other startups go through other programs, but the results that we saw in the process going through IndieBio is not comparable to other processes. So I think it's very important, this conversation. And the last one, as a scientist, I love this conversation. A key missing piece that I have realized it through is that scientists and entrepreneurs want the same thing, to make a difference in something that they're passionate about, but we speak a different language. Capital versus ground. There's some translation culture that needs to be happening. Okay, we work a lot in that, Karen. So that is our the core of our process to transform science and it's very complex and it's difficult, and we don't have all the answers, but we learn every batch. We would been doing this since we did already in 7 cohorts, and it's amazing when you find a way to connect these different languages, and sometimes impact is the best way to connect, because at some point the business entrepreneurs discover that he needs the scientist, and the scientist discover that needs a business entrepreneur, and they are defining the way to start thinking a common project, no, instead of thinking 2 projects in parallel, no. So that is when that happens, magic happens.
Fantastic. Well, Matthias, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you joining, taking the time, being on our main stage and on our sessions, so you can interact with, you know, all the folks who want to engage multiple ways. And with all of these, it seems like we have a full crowd of, you know, Latin American founders, scientist founders who are doing very cool stuff and are passionate in a similar way you are. So I'm grateful we're able to find someone to speak to whatever they're thinking about.
Great. Thanks for inviting me. It was a great pleasure to participate, and we are very fans of all what SOSV is doing. I think you are leading the world in this conversation, and we are going to keep pushing to put more startups in this ecosystem as well, coming out from Latin America.
Well, I honestly, I love all the companies you send to us. We all, you know, sit in the kitchen and drink mate during lunch, so it's a great time.
Well, nice.
Well, great. Thank you, everyone. We have another session going on right now with CTVC. Very excited to learn about all the nerdy data points. So any of the data nerds out there will definitely love that session. Matthias, thank you again. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.
See you soon. Thank you all. Bye-bye.